You love it, baby.
Okay.
We both win gifts.
You gotta get some good shit.
Number 2, what they do?
Okay, the last number 2.
You right on my trail. That's crazy.
Exactly.
Don't put ass.
It better not be another prank.
Tootsie Roll. Let me see that Tootsie Roll. Ooh, that Tootsie Roll to the left.
My ankle twisting it.
Oh yeah, nah. Get your ass
Yeah,
up.
exactly.
You get that.
Hot cocoa, this is cute.
Love you.
The last moments of him under this bridge before he went unconscious. At the very high top of your shoulders. But this is the area right here where his body was found at. Not through no police that message came from, not through no detectives that message came from, but from the first one on the scene. The first one on the scene, and we know he was on the scene because he backed it up with facts. He backed it up with evidence. January 6th, I talked to that man. You know what he said? Not one detective from Gainesville called him. Not one.
The car was broken, but there was someone in the road. She's a nurse. That's her job. She says, we got to get out and help them. We get out. She goes up and helps him. I'm securing the scene, making sure it's safe. I didn't see anybody else around. We must have been there. I don't know the timeline. I gave Tasha some information that could help figure out the timeline. Yes. Because we called 911 less than a minute after the other gentleman called 911. Just a minute.
Yes, sir.
And she assessed him. She stabilized him. She made sure his neck was okay. We got him out of the road and moved him to the side.
Yes, sir.
I did see on the ground right by him was his wallet with money sticking out, a cell phone. He had his wings. The pizza was all over the place. And what I told him is what I thought was weird is the pizza place is that way. And he had fresh hot food. Why were they going this way again if the hotel was over there? That didn't make sense to me.
There's a lot of things in this consistency that don't make sense. Like I say.
On December 27th, 2025, authorities were called to Southwest Archer Road near the I-75 overpass in Gainesville, Florida, after reports of an injured person lying in traffic. At first, it appeared to be a pedestrian accident or medical emergency. Within 24 hours, investigators learned the man had been admitted to the hospital as a John Doe, despite identification being present at the scene, and despite the person who had been with him knowing exactly who he was. At that point, it was clear this was no longer a routine case. You're watching Morbid True Crimes, psychological true crime documentaries. Like, subscribe, and share for in-depth stories that uncover the mind behind the crime. The case centers on Tyrone Davis Jr., age 32, who lived in Gainesville, Florida. Those who knew him described him as a long-haul truck driver, a father to multiple children, and a social media personality who posted daily motivational content under the handle Morning Motivation with Dro. His videos carried a consistent message of positivity and perseverance. His signature phrase was, "Ya feel me." He had built a following of thousands who tuned in each morning for encouragement before starting their day.
I used to have 5, 6 women, y'all, like straight up. And again, I'm not telling y'all this shit to glorify this shit, y'all. I'm just letting y'all know, like, if I can do it, y'all can do it. You feel what I'm saying? And this before Queen came along. You feel what I'm saying? Like, I was already in that transition phase. I'm talking about I used to be a problem. Yo, I used to be a problem, bro. I'm talking about niggas ain't like me because they old lady was in my chest. You feel what I'm saying? But they ain't never gave a. You feel what I'm saying? People opinion of me never fazed me. You feel what I'm saying? How people thought of me or what people thought of me ain't never, like, you feel what I'm saying, got fazed by that shit. To this day, to this moment,
Davis
bro,
was in a long-term relationship with a woman identified publicly as Kiara Davis, also known by the nickname Lulu. The two were not married and did not share children together, though Davis had children from prior relationships. In late December 2025, the couple made plans for what was described as a romantic Christmas getaway at a cabin. According to records and interviews, Davis was employed as a truck driver and maintained a consistent routine tied to his work schedule and family obligations. There were no publicly known reports of prior domestic incidents or legal conflicts involving Davis or his girlfriend at the time. In the days leading up to December 27th, Davis posted his usual motivational content on social media. His routine continued as normal. He communicated with family members and made arrangements for the planned trip. The stated destination was a cabin rental intended as a holiday getaway. According to family members, Davis appeared excited about the trip and had discussed it with relatives in the days prior. On December 26th, Davis and his girlfriend departed for the trip.
I love you.
I love you too.
Man, I love you. You my everything.
Oh my God. Mama, I love you, Lou.
Yes, I can close the door.
I love you, Lou.
Take your time. Babe, I love you. You my everything.
I love you so much. Here, give me a kiss.
I love you too.
You're so perfect.
It gets
No,
better.
my baby is out here.
The location of the cabin has not been
Yo,
disclosed in
punish me.
public records, but the planned route and timeline have become points of focus in the investigation. What is documented is that at some point between their departure and the evening of December 27th, the circumstances of the trip changed significantly. Family members report that communication with Davis was normal on the 26th. By the evening of the 27th, they had not heard from him, a gap that would later be explained by the fact that he was in a hospital, unidentified and unresponsive. The family would not be notified for approximately 24 hours. On December 27th, 2025, at approximately early evening, emergency services were dispatched to Southwest Archer Road near the I-75 overpass in Gainesville, Florida. The call reported an individual lying in traffic, injured and disoriented. Witnesses arrived to find a black male lying in the right traffic lane. According to a nurse who stopped to assist before EMS arrived, the man was alive, breathing, and disoriented. She noted that his pupils were normal and that there were no visible injuries consistent with being struck by a vehicle. The nurse later stated that she attempted to assess him and asked if he had been hit by a car. He did not respond coherently. His condition suggested head trauma, but the absence of external injuries raised questions about the mechanism of injury. Civilians at the scene moved the body out of the active traffic lane for safety. This movement would later create confusion in official reports, as descriptions of where the body was found conflicted with witness accounts. The scene itself appeared unusual to those who arrived early. Witnesses reported that a wallet, multiple phones, and cash had been deliberately laid out near the victim. Food items were either unopened or scattered. The arrangement suggested intentionality rather than the chaotic aftermath of an accident. Authorities arrived and began securing the area. The victim was transported to a nearby hospital. At the time of transport, he had not been identified. No one at the scene provided his name to emergency personnel. His girlfriend Lulu allegedly arrived at the scene only minutes before the ambulance departed. Witnesses later described her demeanor as calm and composed. She did not appear visibly distressed. When asked by medical personnel for the victim's medical history, she provided no information. Instead, she focused on repeating a specific account that Davis had jumped from the moving vehicle while they were in traffic. The ambulance departed. Davis was admitted to the hospital as a John Doe. Investigators determined that Davis had sustained severe blunt force trauma to the back of his head. Medical imaging revealed a skull fracture. The injury was significant enough to cause brain swelling and rapid deterioration. Evidence recovered at the scene included the victim's wallet, which contained identification. Multiple cell phones were also present. Cash was laid out in a manner that suggested it had been removed from a pocket or container and placed deliberately. The sequence of events, according to the initial police report, unfolded as follows. Davis and his girlfriend were traveling in a vehicle on Archer Road. At some point, Davis allegedly opened the door and jumped from the moving car. He landed in or near traffic, sustaining head injuries. His girlfriend pulled over, exited the vehicle, and waited for emergency services. This account would later be challenged by multiple sources. Medical staff at the hospital informed the family that the nature of the skull fracture was inconsistent with a fall from a moving vehicle. The injury pattern suggested a single, concentrated point of impact, blunt force trauma delivered to a specific area of the skull. A forensic interpretation of such an injury typically indicates contact with a hard, stationary object or a deliberate strike. Injuries from falling onto pavement or being struck by a vehicle tend to involve broader surface damage, abrasions, and secondary injuries. The family was told by hospital personnel that the injuries did not align with the explanation provided by the girlfriend.
So the autopsy is complete. The cause of manner is still pending at this time. Typically when it is pending, it's usually because we are awaiting additional information. To give you an estimate, it can take anywhere between 6 to 8 weeks for it to be unpended after all the information has been received.
Okay, so meaning that the report is done?
No, the report is not done yet, but because the cause of manner of death is still pending, we are awaiting additional information at this time.
What does that mean? Cause of manner of death?
So, yes, so what will be listed on the death certificate as the cause of death, that is pending. So that means we're awaiting additional information. So the autopsy report is not complete. The autopsy is complete. That is the examination that we performed. That has been completed, and which is why he was able to be transported out of our care and into the funeral home. But our report with the cause and manner of death is not complete because we are awaiting additional information.
And can you verify the death date for me?
You said 12/29/2025.
Yes, and that's what you have on your report for the death certificate, right?
Correct.
Okay, and question, is it pending because of the investigation that's going on?
No, we're just awaiting additional information. I do not have specifics, but that could be lab results, medical records, information, from law enforcement if law enforcement was involved. I don't get specifics, unfortunately, but typically all of that plays a role in us getting a determined cause and manner of death.
Okay, is there any way we can get this expedited due to the severity of the case, or is it
Unfortunately, we are unable to expedite anything, especially if labs are involved. That is, we don't have an in-house lab, so that would be separate from us, and it is machines that conduct those labs, so we would be unable to expedite that, unfortunately.
Okay,
Additionally, witnesses at the scene noted that the travel direction of the vehicle, based on where Davis was found, did not align with the locations of the restaurant the couple had visited earlier or the hotel where they were allegedly staying. The food items found at the scene raised further questions. Some were unopened, others appeared scattered. The arrangement suggested either a struggle or an interrupted sequence of events. In the hours that followed, Lulu remained at the hospital but did not stay continuously at Davis's bedside. According to hospital staff and family members, she was present intermittently, but did not remain in the room. Family members report that when they arrived at the hospital, approximately 24 hours after the incident, Lulu was not in the immediate area. She later appeared and repeated the same account she had given to authorities, that Davis had jumped from the car. She did not provide additional context. She did not offer details about what preceded the jump, what had been discussed in the vehicle, or why Davis would have made such a decision. At the time, hospital staff noted this lack of detail. One nurse later stated that it was unusual for a partner to provide so little medical history or context, particularly in a trauma case involving someone they knew well. According to the family, Lulu did not call 911 herself. The call to emergency services came from bystanders at the scene. Lulu's role, as described by witnesses, was limited to arriving shortly before the ambulance left and providing her version of events. She did not request to ride in the ambulance. She did not follow immediately to the hospital. Her arrival there was delayed by a period that has not been publicly clarified. The family also alleges that after Davis's death, money was transferred from his bank account. This claim has not been reflected in public records or criminal charges, but it has been cited by the family as a point of concern. Investigators focused on reconstructing the timeline and verifying the account provided by Lulu. They recovered physical evidence from the scene, including the victim's personal belongings and photographs of the area where he was found. They also interviewed witnesses who had stopped to assist. Several of these witnesses provided contact information to police and expected follow-up interviews. According to those witnesses, no follow-up occurred. One witness, a nurse who had medical training, offered detailed observations about Davis's condition when she first encountered him. She noted his pupils, his breathing, his level of consciousness, and the absence of external injuries. She also noted the unusual arrangement of items at the scene. Her account was not requested in a formal follow-up interview. Testing of the vehicle involved in the incident has not been publicly disclosed. It is unclear whether forensic analysis was conducted on the interior or exterior of the car, whether blood or tissue evidence was recovered, or whether the vehicle's speed and braking patterns were examined. Medical records confirmed the cause of death: blunt force trauma to the head resulting in a skull fracture, brain swelling, and subsequent organ failure. Davis remained in the hospital for approximately 2 days before he was removed from life support. His family authorized the removal after being told by medical staff that there was no meaningful brain activity remaining. Certain details were not publicly disclosed during the initial investigation. The Gainesville Police Department issued a statement describing the death as tragic, but not suspicious. They indicated that their investigation supported the account of a self-inflicted exit from a moving vehicle. The family disputed this conclusion. They pointed to the medical evidence, the witness statements, and the behavior of the girlfriend as inconsistencies that warranted further scrutiny. A Change.org petition was launched by Davis's cousin, Christina Webb, calling for a thorough forensic investigation, accountability, and transparency. The petition gathered over 3,000 signatures. The family's demands included a review of the timeline, formal interviews with all witnesses, and an independent analysis of the medical findings. As the investigation progressed, attention shifted to the discrepancies between the official police narrative and the medical evidence described to the family. On January 9, 2026, the petition went public and began circulating widely on social media. Family members, particularly Davis's father and his cousin Natalie, began speaking publicly. They emphasized that they were not accusing anyone without evidence, but that the evidence they had been shown by medical professionals did not support the story being told. Natalie Davis stated in interviews that hospital staff had explicitly told the family the injuries were inconsistent with a fall or a vehicular incident. She stated that the term used was blunt force trauma, delivered in a manner that suggested a concentrated impact. The Gainesville Police Department did not alter its position. Investigators maintained that the evidence supported the conclusion that Davis had jumped from the vehicle. What followed would significantly alter the public perception of the case, even if it did not immediately change the official investigation. Social media campaigns using the hashtags Justice for Doe, I Am Tyrone Davis Jr., and Davis Strong began trending locally and within the trucking community. Supporters shared Davis's motivational videos and called for further action. The family requested that the case be treated as a suspicious death. As of mid-January 2026, that request had not been formally granted. No charges have been filed in connection with the death of Tyrone Davis Jr. The case remains classified by the Gainesville Police Department as a non-suspicious death. The investigation is listed as ongoing, though no public updates have been issued since the initial statement in early January. Lulu has not been arrested or charged. Through a friend, she released a statement expressing grief and denying any involvement in Davis's death. She described herself as heartbroken and overwhelmed. She stated that she had lost the love of her life. The family continues to push for answers. Tyrone Davis Sr., the victim's father, has made multiple public statements emphasizing that he is not seeking financial compensation or publicity, only clarity about what happened to his son. As of January 18, 2026, the case remains unresolved in the eyes of the family and the public, even as authorities consider it closed. The petition calling for justice has been marked as successful by Change.org based on the volume of signatures, but no concrete investigative action has been confirmed as a result. What remains is a record of confirmed actions and the decisions that preceded them. A man planned a trip with someone he trusted. Within 24 hours, he was in a hospital, unidentified, with injuries that medical professionals found inconsistent with the explanation given. The person who knew his name did not provide it. The person who could have called for help did not. The person who could have stayed by his side did not. In cases like this, understanding those decisions is often the only clarity left behind. Whether those decisions were made out of fear, confusion, guilt, or indifference may never be fully known. What is known is that Tyrone Davis Jr. died without his family knowing where he was or what had happened. And that gap between what was said and what was seen is what his family is still trying to close. Thank you for watching Morbid True Crime. If this story made you think, consider liking the video, subscribing, and sharing it. Because understanding the crime is how we prevent the next one.